Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Rez Infinite. So, in between the last recording and this, I put it into trance mode and left it running overnight. So theoretically, the game should have unlocked some of this stuff. Like, almost certainly, I would have played the game for over 5 hours at that point. So leaving it running in trance mode does not count, nor would I assume then leaving it running for the entirety of just on the menu. I don't think that would count. And we can certainly test it, but there's really no reason to. But leaving it running in play mode without actually playing isn't going to count either. I also checked out the achievements, and what's weird about the achievements in particular here is that the lowest achievement for getting all the other achievements has been done by 0.5% of players. The second highest is to just clear score attack mode 30 times by 0.6% of the players on Steam. Which, that's a little shocking, frankly. Like, there's really no reason why you couldn't just beat Area 1 over and over again 30 times, even if you're just a moderately skilled player. And weirdly, the next highest achievement is just to clear direct assault mode trance, which maybe that is a new mode that unlocks after you do direct assault mode. Otherwise, I don't know. Now, some of the other achievements do look like they'd be fairly difficult. One thing I want to do here, though, is I want to pull out just my mouse. The game heavily requests that you play with a controller, but look at how much easier you can move with just a mouse. Like, I don't have particularly a high DPI mouse or anything like that. This is just a Logitech, I believe, M10 mouse, wireless mouse even, so it's not even really a fairly large like low latency type of mouse. You can just be really rapid here. And it really isn't WASD at all, is it? It's just holding down the left click to fire. Maybe you would need to twist around somewhere to move around a little bit. So if I right click, that's your over mode. I guess the idea here is you probably need to take out the entirety of the edges and just focus on one side here first. Then go to the middle. So the game is fairly deceptive, I would say, and the game is fairly easy also. Now, this is where I would probably need the WASD keyboard, and having that not available to me caused me to get hit. I definitely would have to relearn quite a bit here. Not so much the layout of enemies or anything like that, but just how to play. Noticeably, can you move in this rapid style to do little circles? And is that actually efficient enough? Probably isn't efficient enough, but I definitely see how you get there. This is effectively a slightly better version of just tapping the A button like crazy, and it certainly gives my thumb a bit of a rest instead of having it all smash the A button over and over again. Hold the A button down. I'm not sure. There isn't a situation here where you can only hit something so many times and that you have to potentially have waves. I don't think that is the case, though. I think the whole idea is to pretty much have a fully locked-on experience. What you don't really get here, however, is a lot of opportunity to recover from a mistake. And unless I'm just going to be given like 50,000 points extra for the boss fight, I'm probably not going to get a score attack high score. Even with a fairly easier experience here happening. There's like targets all over, far in the distance. So at like 98,000 here, so it is very doable, I think. Now, arguably, maybe you should get some extra score if you kept the overcharge with you. And certainly at any point here, I think I could really screw up and just not avoid taking damage because I can't turn around and look. Let's see. I just have to effectively take the mouse cursor to the edge of the screen to turn around, and that's a fairly slow experience. Yeah, I think I just missed a level up. That was probably the same evolution up that I missed the first time I played this boss. Notice you are also going much further with the mouse in many different directions and moving a lot faster. So there are little patterns. Of course, I just got evolved. And the overdrive attack there didn't really help as much as it should have. If this guy hits me, I would die at the last second here. So 141,000, 9,000 short, basically. And no extra points for having me be at form 0 versus level 1 versus level 2, level 3, level 4, final form, anything like that. So, yeah. All of a sudden the game feels a little too easy at that input when you play with mouse. And that's always been the case for video games. And it's always been the limitation that when I do play video games, even as a now Steam PC gamer, I've never really wanted to cross the level into what you might call professional gaming inputs, mouse and keyboard inputs specifically, because if I'm playing a game that is that difficult and hasn't been really dumbed down for your average console player playing with an average console controller, then the game's just going to be too difficult for me anyways, and not something I want to spend my time on. That being said, there's certainly something nice about at least having the backup option in this game. But I think they probably should not as heavily recommend using a mouse. Now I'm going back to the controller. But I don't think I'm going to get very far here. Particularly this final level, Area 5. It would be very nice to have a trance mode run of this, just so you can watch what's going on. Now, what I said in the previous recording was that mostly I do tend to move pretty fast. Now, having just played with the mouse, this feels incredibly sluggish. Like the cursor is just not moving fast enough. So let's see if maybe we can improve that a little bit. Adjust the reticle speed of the gamepad up 1. Noticeably, you could turn the mouse speed up, and apparently you could deconstrain the mouse. So let's see what the game feels like there. Heck, let's also turn up the vibration on the controller, because I have not noticed any vibration. Unfortunately, While this may have been one of the earliest games with vibration as a concept, since you were buying a special adapter just for this one game with vibration and haptic feedback in that sense, we've overplayed the gimmick of vibration in video games ever since, and nowadays it is either the controller vibrates like crazy for 4 to 30 seconds and I notice it, or it vibrates so subtly that I don't notice it at all, which is most of the case, I imagine. That feels a little bit better, but not good enough still. Alright, while we're doing that, let's jack up the speed to the maximum. It's still probably going to be fairly slow. Where's the cursor? Can't see the cursor until the overdrive is disabled. I would say the song for this level is the best, and inherently I think that probably is also a statement on just the amount of time you're committing to. A full song in this double length level sets you up for, I think, a better experience than being fairly limited to a half song length. It's still not fast enough though, even at the highest speed. But I've effectively doubled the speed at which I move with no real increase in challenge there. When you really get into the groove, your sounds, the music, you're really a part of it. You're not just feeling like an outsider interluding or interfering with the orchestral experience of all these bullets being shot at you. You're an important part to the rhythm, to the beat, to the song. And the better you play, the more it sounds like you're improving the audio. And that feels nice, certainly, in this perhaps weird transcendental music style. And even if you play particularly bad, you still get pretty decent music in this final level. There are other games that have music integrated where it is just a sharp piano scratch sound when you miss a beat, when you screw up, and it just ruins the audio. as you play these levels, you may also start to see things further off in the distance, which there's a bit of a question there as far as at certain resolutions, would you be able to really see things? I probably activated the overdrive too late in that case. Turn around. Yep, a little early on the turnaround can certainly help. Give you a little bit more time. But then the question really is, can you turn around at the wrong time? And I think the answer is pretty much no. Going quiet as I'm just trying to focus and have more of a successful experience. Just trying to shoot down as many things early. Not at a particularly high rate though, as far as the score attack. Remember, the high score in this level is a 300,000 points, which, yes, you are fighting every boss again, so if each boss gives you about, whoops, I crashed into it, but I still got the analyzation. So if each boss wants to give you about 50,000 points, then that might make some amount of sense. Let's not get hit again. Clearly I'm not going to get the good ending and be at full evolution. These gates are being called gates of truth, and they very much have a feeling of a sci-fi twist on, say, a Shinto or Buddhist Japanese gate, the big red gates that you see in Japan all over the place, that, as I've heard it, are supposed to represent that you're entering a sacred area, that this is the gate of a sacred area. I've seen them in anime like Inuyasha, implying that demons can't walk through the gates and would walk around instead, so it's a way to potentially mark people or demons who are pretending to be humanoid. But the phrase Gate of Truth and the idea that you're entering a sacred place, the central core of Eden's, the central core of Eden, does make a lot of sense. And I think you definitely would take the interpretation here that it is Eden, or Eve, that is afraid. And trying to stop you. So it's resetting you to the baby form, final form. So if you can just avoid taking any damage in these last fights, you could win. On top of which, if I can manage to if I manage to save my overdrive, that also will be very useful at the end. In part of the trick here, I guess, is to get a lot of these side attack spinning things. Don't let something get too high or too far to the left or too far to the right. We also are in a pretty good position to have a full well, we're probably not getting 300,000. We're at 98,000. I would need to get a lot higher of a score. It's so weird that it's labeled as locked, when really they mean locked on. Because in my mind, locked certainly means that you're not able to actually hurt or shoot the enemy, not that you've already done it. I'm moving fairly slow here. Getting extra pickups probably isn't really giving me a lot of extra score. These are all about to hit me. So it isn't really a case where I need to target just one. It's more of a case that I need to go in circles to keep these all going down. That being said, there's not too much I really have to do. We're just at full overdrive mode now, which that may make this final fight fairly easy. I feel like the move here is almost certainly to keep heavy on the head in this pattern and stay ahead of it. Using one overdrive right now is not a terrible thought. Missiles feel like they are getting fired higher and wider multiple times there. Just getting little opportunities to do a little bit of damage in the middle. And see if we can get a couple shots. I could have overdrived even an extra time there. But yeah, unless you're going to get like 150,000 points now, it'd need to be 175,000 points in this final boss battle. And yeah, my fingers are a little sore. So ideally, number one priority here is to keep the health at maximum. Well, technically, number one priority would be to not die completely and fail, but so use an overdrive if necessary. Trying to target a thing until we can do that quickly. You can see there's just a whole flying ship that's not even started moving yet. So I imagine the move here is to also try and follow the same ring over and over again. That way it would break quicker. Yeah. And with overdrive, it's making this feel way easier, but we're not really getting any points here. I've maybe gotten 5,000 points in this boss battle. I guess the fact really comes down to just, do you want to solely focus on the rings? Yeah, that my overdrive there didn't even help. Yeah, I guess you are really supposed to probably just focus on the rings and the central top and bottom sections. And for the most part, just ignore completely these things shooting at you. And as there are more of these defense ships being activated in the fourth phase. Alright, now weirdly, the health bar is not at 0. So there's one more phase after this, and maybe that would have been the point to save an overdrive for. Of course, I'm not really playing the game really trying for score. There we go. Yep, there goes our full health. So this totally would have been the point to just overdrive and overdrive. 168,000 points, so unless this just gives me a ton of points, you can definitely see how you would have to hold down the button and get those max combos. I'm not even sure this is going to bother to send me the credits. Beyond Beam Type 1 has been unlocked. But weirdly, that is kind of it as far as things that have been unlocked. Maybe if we keep on playing, yeah. To get Beam Type 2, you'd have to get a you'd have to just do the score attack a second time, all 5 of the arrows a second time, and just a third time for 3, fourth time for 4, fifth time for 5, and then 6th time for the more alien beam. Let's see. High scores in score attack mode unlock the camera modes, so we didn't accomplish any of that. Direct assault trance is immortality and high score in boss rush mode, but we can't even do boss rush mode, and we can't have a starting higher form unless we just kept on playing. What do we need to unlock boss rush mode is to go back to play mode. Alright, so Beam Type 1. Let's just see what that looks like in the Lost area quickly here. I mean, feels smooth. Maybe it's a bit faster in which it locks in on enemies. But it certainly doesn't seem that different. It is a direct arrow towards a target. Certainly doesn't seem like it is enough of a reward by any means for all the effort it took to get to that, doing each of these score attack modes. But obviously they want you to do the score attack modes just for the sake of the score attack modes, not for the sake of unlocking slightly modified beam types. Clearly the beam mode here isn't just gonna save the day. I've already taken 1 damage. it definitely feels like the move if you were going to go for all of this would be to also unlock the beam types based on the number of hours you played. That way everything potentially unlocks based on just a number of hours of playing. That's one thing you can do in a re-release of an old game without really having to rethink it too much. Is just say, hey, this person put in a lot of effort, or time at least, maybe not that much effort, and we should just reward their time instead of rewarding their skill or even an effort. Effort's hard to measure, but time is easy to measure, and skill is somewhat subjective. You don't want your player to feel like he's being disrespected, or that his player, that his time is being disrespected. Now, I assume if you have beam level 1, you may be actually just locking yourself into a beam level 1, either animation or power level, always. Otherwise, it kind of only helps you a little bit at the beginning of each of these runs to start at a higher level. Yeah. I don't know if there's any reason to even do the lost level a second time here. If I could, say, get a high score from all of that, maybe it would be important, but now I've already just started playing the level, so I just want to keep on playing, when really I had planned to just exit. I am doing slightly better because I sped up the cursor, but I could clearly just speed up the mouse and do even better. I'm still not really holding the button down enough to get a full amount of score manipulation. Notice no drum beats when I stop tapping the A button. So, like, the entire drum beating tempo sound effect here, that's just constantly beating, that is directly to me smashing the A button. I suppose it's worth mentioning that I have absolutely no musical talent, so it is very possible somebody with rhythm would do a lot better in this game. But it is fairly amazing that they are able to integrate your button presses with a drum beat, and it doesn't come off as an annoying equivalent of like a little kid beating on pots and pans like it's a drum. So we got slightly over 100,000 score there. I think we needed 150,000 for a high score. We missed a lot of support items. We missed some shot downs. Yeah. I do wonder in score attacks if maybe you would get a higher bonus if you could skip a phase with the boss fights and then use that in to use like a full load of your auto drive overdrive abilities. So yeah, sadly it really is a case where there's not a good enough reason to play score attack, and there is a weird reason, I suppose, to play mode, but then there's also direct assault mode, and assault all areas in order from start to finish. And so that's what we'll do next episode, and that will be fairly long of an episode. The question is, will I manage to beat direct assault mode? I should be able to do it. And then will it unlock a trance mode? It would be very weird for direct assault trance to unlock, considering how boss rush is shown here with a lock on it. That if there was a direct assault trance mode, it should just be already shown. But maybe it's supposed to be a secret. I don't know why you'd make it a secret though. Yeah. Continuously, the game is wearing out my thumb, so I need to be cautious of that too. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, there's some links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.